come out of the gate, especially here in Toronto, where we know it's going to be an amazing crowd. And we know it's going to be that first test for us. But again, I think, and how we started the season last year, that took some teams by surprise, beat some very good teams. But now, with us raising our level of play, we need to, like I said, just be up to the challenge and all be on the same page. I think if we do that, we have the talent to be very good.
What's the vibe around the team, given the fact that, so last year you win 44 games, but you lose in the play-in tournament. So there's a level of hunger after that, and then you add Donovan.
Right. No, I think, obviously he elevates our team, and another star like him to, a place where, hopefully we can win more than 44 games and we could be within the top 6. But I think the East is very good, pretty much from top to bottom, especially the top, 6 to 8 teams. So we know it's going to be ultra competitive. And I think, the luxury that we have is our depth and talent throughout our lineup. But I think we need to have, that type of exactly. We need to have that type of mentality where we're not easing our way into it. We know that all of us haven't played together too much, but we're going to have to figure it out on the fly, and hopefully that we'll bring some wins early for sure.
You've been part of some big time partnerships with stars and figuring out how to make things work. As Donovan participates in the program here. What does it take to make that work this time?
Great veterans, I think.
Championship-winning veterans.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it's we have such a great culture, which really started, when JB took over in that second half of that pandemic season. I think, we had a feeling that, we had that depth, we had, different lineups that we could play, and then obviously drafting Evan, trading for Don has just kind of elevated our organization into a place where we can really make some amazing things happen. And on top of that, we obviously traded for Jae. DG has taken a major step. We expect him to take another one this year. So I think all of those things, on top of us having such a great culture and everybody showing up to work every single day and putting in the time is, going to make for a really good brand of basketball. But again, we have to. Thanks, Dina. Signing Dean, obviously. No, but we can make it for a really good brand of basketball if we, really put emphasis on, kind of how we structure our offense and our defense, but, kind of understand who we are as an identity.
Did you let your mind go back to obviously kind of having the experience of knowing what it is to succeed with this franchise, completely different team? But when you're taking stock of where you guys are and what you're trying to build, do you let your mind go back at all, or do you use any of those things to talk to guys about?
Yeah, definitely. And I think even going back to last year, just having Ricky, around this team, I think he pushed us so far forward in just a half of a season with how we wanted to play, and I think it became infectious. But I think there's a lot to definitely learn looking in the rear view, and there's some, I think, wisdom to impart, not only from myself, but the coaching staff, whether it be Rolo, what he's seen in his 15 years, and I mentioned Ricky, but I mean, it's amazing being these guys' teammates just because they listen, they want to get better, they want to change for the better if they need to, they're willing to put in the work, and I think when you have a lineup like this, 1 through 15, 16, however many people on the roster, you don't typically see that throughout. Like, we don't have one bad egg, and I think that allows for us to come to work every single day and put the energy into everything that we need to do.
With all that's been made about the East being so strong, obviously at this point in your career, you're not looking at kind of the news items, the trendier things, but what are those tangibles that you do look for when you're lining up like threats, you would say?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like, I think the beauty of what we have on this team obviously is the ability to play many different lineups, because each team is going to pose a different threat. I mean, watching the game last night, you see. Is that yours? I put my dirty socks in there.
Oh.
My fault. Yeah, my fault. Might put my wallet in there too. So.
Oh, let me see.
No, but you look at last night, like Boston, obviously with Jalen and Jason, they provide such a threat from those two positions, and then as well as they're a super balanced team, and they made it to the finals for a reason, obviously. But then you look at a team like Philly, who has a monster on the inside, MVP type caliber player, and then a very hungry James Harden, and they have Maxey on the wing, who's really stepped into a great role for their team. So those are just two examples, but really from, like I said, top to bottom, those strong teams in the East is going to continue to get better.
Thank you.